Okay, here's a story of that. Being my parents and my sisters had waited for me because I'm the only biologically male born in the family. I grew up with 7 older sisters that really, so I was very spoiled by my family being the only child that they've been waiting for. And I'm supposed to, you know how the Asians are, I'm supposed to carry the family name kind of thing, so that everybody was focused on me. But the thing, as a child, they were all playing with me. My sisters were playing with me, dressing me up. I was doing shows for the neighborhood, doing shows and stuff like that. And as a matter of fact, because of how they were dressing me up, the family called me Dali. My nickname, the whole neighborhood, is Dali Boy. Okay, this is going on up to when I was in high school. Okay, being a very religious family by that time, you know, they're very strict. I went to a Seventh Adventist school, elementary school up to high school, and they're very, very strict. My dad, on the other hand, is a Tagalog, okay, and he is Catholic. So that kind of causes, but both parents died earlier in life. So practically my sisters really were the one that guided me and really helped me in many ways.
Yeah.
So I feel like even when I was younger, that I felt like I'm kind of feeling different inside. I know because of what I was doing, even as a child, dressing up with my sister's clothing, you know, and stuff like that. But at that time, the transgender word has not even existed. We didn't even have transgenders at that time. Was not even, the word transgender is not even coined yet. We don't even have that word yet at the time. All we know was I felt and I know that I was gay, okay? But back home, I didn't even go to any bars. I don't know any at all about the community back in the Philippines at the time, okay? The first bars that I went to is here in LA. When I started going to the bars here, because I stayed with my sister, elder sister, and at the time my mom was here, okay? So I stayed with them, and I went to this gay bar in somewhere in the valley. That was the first gay bar, and I met this guy, and we kind of had a relationship, and he asked me to move in with him, and we lived in Paramount at first, and we lived in Long Beach, but as a gay boy, not as a transgender woman. So that relationship lasted for like almost 7 years, okay? But at that time, I don't even have any interaction at the time with the community itself, okay? So when we broke up, then I moved to Long Beach, okay? Then then I saw the culture. I got involved with a bowling league, a gay bowling league, where every bar sponsors a team, okay? I got involved with that because of my love for bowling, and then when I got involved with that, I became the chair or the president of one of the bowling leagues in Long Beach. Okay, there was a pageant at the time from that was being established, a transgender pageant named Closet Ball, the Closet Ball.
And when was this?
This must have been way back. This was like late 80s. Okay. So with that, they coached me and said, come on, they coached me, come on, enter it. The price is a trip to Hawaii. Okay, come on, enter it. So I was nagged to join the pageant. So I did join the pageant. That was the first time that I publicly dressed as a woman. Okay, the pageant. And surprisingly, I won the pageant. And I got hooked on the pageant. I started joining other pageants. And with that came my success with pageant. I started winning pageants after pageants. So I got these titles. part of that is also kind of mentoring, being an advocate for the community, because I get invited to a lot of events of the inferior court as their beauty queen to speak and also represent the community. Okay, at the time, dressed of course in female clothing with crowns and stuff. So that's where my first interaction with the community was, through the beauty pageants. Okay, is that at the time I was working for Northrop Grumman. Northrop Grumman is an aerospace military, all contract, government contract, military-based military contract. They work with satellites and a lot of those, even a stealth bomber. They work on those things. Because of what I do with them, and my degree is chemical engineering, I was a senior engineer. I was practically living a double life because of the fact that even I have to get a top security clearance. I have a top security clearance at that time. Please edit this part because, okay, maybe you can use it. I just don't want to get in trouble with security. I had a top security clearance at the time, okay? And with that, when you apply for your security clearance, one of the questions that really bothered me, it says there, are you a homosexual? At the time, the word transgender was not even, they don't even have that. And I had to lie all the time. I had to lie, no. But they check your background, they check your neighbors and stuff like that, because they feel like it could be used to get information out of me, blackmail me, to get, you know, security, top security information because of the work that I do, okay? So I'm going to work every day in a suit and tie with my hair. I had long hair, but it's all bundled up, okay? And then during the day and at night, I go to the bars representing beauty queen, doing shows at the gay bars in West Hollywood. And when I go home, I take everything, all my makeup, take all my makeup away because I don't want my neighbors to, because they're gonna get, you know, they're gonna get alerted because of the background checks that they do with the work that I do. So with that, you know, I was practically living a double life. And there was a time that I wasn't happy doing this. And so I decided to leave and quit my job as an engineer. That's how I got involved with the community. Jeffrey Prang, who is now an assessor, he used to work for the city of West Hollywood. He is a council member and he was a mayor at the time. A day job, his work was with the sheriffs, under Sheriff Baca, as an undersheriff for Baca at the time. They started a GLBT, Sheriff's Advisory Council for the county. And he invited me and asked me to be, you know, a board member or council member for that sheriff department. That's how I got involved. And he was the one that mentored me and really asked me to really get involved with my community. And one of the tasks that I was asked to do is also do policies on the sheriff's department interaction with transgender individuals, because at the time we were already experiencing a lot of problems. The neighborhood are complaining, a lot of problems with the community. Now, also Los Angeles and LAPD and the community having a lot of bigger problems at the time. So Human Relations Commission, they invited me also. They have a gay and lesbian advisory council at the time of the city of Los Angeles. This was 2006, 2007. So they approached me. They said, we want to invite you. We're planning to do a working group that deals with the problems with LAPD specifically and the transgender community of the city of LA, because there's a lot of complaints with how our community is being treated by law enforcement. So I accepted to be the chair of that working group. What resulted to that, and we had long meetings, laid out meetings with a lot of chiefs on both sides, and with the guidance of the mayor's office of the Aden Villaraigosa, the mayor of of Los Angeles at the time. We had several meetings with them at the time dealing with that. One of the things that we did was have a community forum at LA City College, asking all the community members to be there. I had panels that composed of community members and also commissioners to listen to all this. I invited community to voice out their experience with law enforcement, whether good or bad, specifically because we're working on the City of LAPD. Okay, what resulted to that is a policy, recommended policy, that has now been approved. It took us a long time, from 2009. Okay, that is now currently being used by the Los Angeles Police Department, which is finally signed by Chief Beck. Now that is being used. Also, I also sit on the councils of the Sheriff's Department. They have the similar policy also that the Sheriff's Department is using now. Okay, so with that, we were just a working group. With that, I went to the city because we were under Human Relations Commission. I went to see and convince them to redesignate the working group to become an advisory board to the city. And the same with West Hollywood. We were just a task force for 9 years. When I became the chair of the task force, I went to Jeff Prang, then mayor of West Hollywood, and I asked again, what does it take for us to become an advisory board? He just jumped into it right away and said, wow, that's a great idea, that's a good idea. Okay, so that's how we started. And West Hollywood was the first that has the first transgender advisory board within a municipality. All other cities have a GLBT except West Hollywood and Los Angeles. The third city now is Minneapolis, Minnesota, because I got a phone call from them, which started about, I think, 9 months ago.
It's extremely high.
And
the
thing about that is we advise the city, we advise the mayor, the council members, and city agencies on any issues pertaining to the transgender community. So we deal on all those issues. We have committees. I have committees right now that deals with law enforcement, a committee that deals with job development, a committee that holds on homelessness. We have several committees that we work on. And these are folks that are doing it voluntarily, okay, with their own accord. I always come up with, they don't have budgets for it, but we're working on those budget parts of it, because I went to the city already to ask, okay? So that is part of the thing. But these are all community leaders, really, just to create policies and work with government officials. We're very fortunate that we're here in LA and Hollywood, because we have officials that listens, that allies that are there for us. You know, Mr. Farrell's office, the mayor, and even West Hollywood, all the council members are with us on this, okay? And they're helping us. But we're still far far behind compared to our gay and lesbian brothers and sisters on every level, especially on rights, transgender rights, for example. We're still fighting for those rights. Well, we need all the allies and support. We need to build all the bridges. There's a lot of bridges that we went through. There was a time that we weren't even allowed in some of the bars in West Hollywood and other bars, especially with the gay man. Okay, there was a time that we were not allowed. There was a time that we're still, and we're still experiencing that. And one of the things that the policies that we're bringing, they need to go all to sensitivity training classes. It's a mandatory being imposed right now. The policy has been approved right now in the city of LA. that all government employees, fire department, paramedics, and also LPD, and also inside the city that deals with transgender individuals have to go to a mandatory training. That's being implemented right now because of the work of the Transgender Advisory Council working with the city, which is badly needed because it still happens. I'm still getting complaints right now, even in West. I'm so surprised. I just got a complaint right now. It's in bars in West Hollywood. They're still having discrimination from employees in those gay bars, okay, or other bars. I don't like to mention names right now, but you know, because of that, because it's still some of them are under litigations and stuff like that. But this should stop. We already have a lot of people that discriminates us, even family members. I've gone through a lot of things. A lot of the girls, because of the work that I do and reach out, call me Mother Karina. In LA, they call me Mother Karina. It is kind of a respect that I know, because some of them are even as old as I am, or older, and sometimes I even go to their houses, and their grandmother would say, "Oh, Mother Karina is here," you know. So I know that that was a respect that they give me. You know, now I'm getting teary-eyed because we went through a lot of things. We went through a lot of heartaches, and I hear them because they come to me for help, and that's the reason why I do this. Even with St. John's, that's how St. John's Clinic had started, okay? Because a lot of the girls came up to me undocumented, they don't have any insurance, they needed medical help. Although at the time St. John's is just a family center that deals with mothers and children, okay? Because I know the CEO, because the CEO was part of the Imperial Court, I went to him and I said, is there a way you can help our girls who doesn't have undocumented, they really badly needed, you know, health care? Yeah, I brought them in. They were treated. We even given free medications with no questions asked, undocumented, no questions asked, even free medication they give them, okay? So I finally had a meeting with them and sat them down, and I brought in Mason Davis from Transgender Law Center and convinced them and talked to them. And I'm so glad that they did. Now they have a clinic now, specifically for transgender clinic that they have, and I think almost like 2,000 patients a month now being treated in that facility, St. John's. So those are the kind of things that we really need and help from other members and other groups to help our community. You have to help yourself rehab. That's why I always, you know, encourage chosen families, because even I've gone through a lot with other family members who are still even discriminating their own family. I've gone to funerals of girls who had been killed because of family members' non-acceptance. They have to be out on the streets and live on the streets and are being targeted and killed. You know, this is very sad to see, you know, but I've gone through that, talked to them, and also gone to funerals and raising help funds for them. And I'm so sorry, because it's really hurtful. I have several stories that I can tell about what happened, even on funerals and stuff like that, because of still family members not acceptance and discrimination, even when they were already dead. Okay, it's really sad to see this.
So to find community, to find a new.
Yeah, that's the reason why we have to have. So I said, encourage chosen families. Yeah, they call me mother. We have our own chosen families, like sister, to help each other, and be supportive of one another. To hear these groups of people who you can trust as friends, who can be there for you no matter what. Okay, because we need all that help that we can get. But still, we still encourage a lot of hatred from other community members. I go to meetings sometimes. Oh, stories I can tell. I've gone to police commissioners meeting, even a city hall council meeting,
because of the Brown Act rule, and also as the right, what the right to speak. I mean, what do you call it? Yeah, that freedom of speech, freedom of speech. Just anything on the agenda, the Brown Act rule, that anything on the agenda they can go give a comment. I've done 3 meetings, okay, and after I give my report and speech, somebody from the audience come up and cite the Bible and tells me, it says here on this and that I am an abomination to the Lord because I am sinful, because I'm a transgender, that I should be dressing up as transgender. I've encountered a lot of those in the past, and I just take it. And some of the time, and one of the times it happened at the police commissioners meeting, the chief of police, MacArthur, came to me and said, "Karina, you don't have to listen to this crowd." They escorted, LAPD escorted me out of the room because of those group of people who are still. And this is Los Angeles. You would imagine that we can so much more with those people out there who doesn't have the support of the city and the government officials. So much so. That's the reason why a lot of influx are coming to LA and California, because of that. I understand what they're going through out there in other states and other cities.
Other countries.
Right. And I've gone through that. And I know because I've gone through it. When I was working there, I got beaten up. And I got through all those things, with guys that I thought they knew, okay? And then later on, because of guilt that would trigger on, I get beaten up. But at the time, I can't do anything. I can't even go because I'm afraid to go and report. You know why? Because it's going to go on my record. And with my work, I cannot be out as a transgender woman.
That's crazy. Okay, well, thank you very much.